Hello, this is Talamir, and welcome to another repair video. In this video, we're looking at this Samsung Galaxy S21 that supposedly is having a problem with booting and maybe even an issue with the screen or the digitizer. We're going to be looking into this and seeing what's going on. So let's crack at it. Let's get ourselves some amp readers and see what's happening. To begin with, I want to do an inspection of the port itself. And just by looking at it, I don't see anything chipped, I don't see any bent pins or anything like that. I do have a mediocre microscope that can also look into that port as well. It's not going to be the best, but we can take a look and just see if it sees anything. No, I don't see anything. Now, first off, I'd like to go and test the charge port and just see if there's anything disconnected. So we're not trying to turn on the phone or anything, we just want to see. This is a mechanic device that I found online. Now, this one I bought off of AliExpress, but I have found that there is also ones available on Amazon. So I do have an Amazon affiliate link in the video description if you need one for yourself. It's really great. It does have the Lightning port and the USB-C. And it'll just give you the pinout and tell you if there's anything wrong or anything that's going on. My recommendation is check a phone that you know is working and is similar. Oh my. We're getting zeros across the board. That should not be happening. Now, with this kind of a charge port, you should see at least, generally speaking, at least 8 pins showing. This one's showing nothing. Something is definitely going on. So just for reference, you see this phone right here, I think it's an A51. If I plug it in here, you should get something. So I'm getting 4 pins on this one at least. Gotten something, you know, at least something. I'm pretty sure that one has an issue with its charge port. Even this one here should show something. That's a great example. You got 12 pins showing as connected. That is more like what I'm expecting. Sometimes you see just 8 pins, but yeah. Perfect example of a very clean, very clean one. If I try to plug this in right now, I don't think it's going to show anything. It should be completely dead. So looking for an amp draw. It is charging. It's pulling a good charge. How's that possible? No, now it's not pulling anything. Now it's pulling something. Oh, I just had it wiggled out a little bit. It is a little bit wiggly. It should be showing something on screen right now, though. Now I'm wondering about if there's some sort of damage to the display itself. I'm looking for a crack in the panel, not the screen. I don't see anything, though. I think the charge port might be dirty. It feels loose. It does have some dirt in there. I usually don't do this for customers unless they're paying me, but it is dirty. What I'm doing right now is a free diagnosis for the customer. That shouldn't wiggle around anymore, but I want to test that port again. Maybe it was just not going in deep enough. There we go, 8 pins. I'm going to flip it over to the other side and just see. Still good. Just needed a cleaning. So the port is fine, but clearly there's something going on with this screen. Because the phone, I think it's on right now. Yeah, so it is charging, as we saw before. It's pulling a charge, it's pulling a good charge. It's just absolutely nothing on the display. I'm going to switch over to the microscope, my good one. And let's take a look at underneath there and just see if there is some sort of crack in the panel. All right, I got it focused in. Let's take a look around this screen and see if we see anything. It's the only thing I can see on the whole screen so far that might be related to the problem. I don't see any damage to the screen itself. So there's 2 possibilities here. It may be that one of the connectors on the motherboard itself has broken or popped off, or the other possibility is simply that the screen is no longer functioning properly. So I've spoken with the customer, and really there's only 2 things really I can do. I can replace the screen, or it might be a connectivity issue. Either way, I need to get into the phone to go on any further. So the customer said that I can go ahead with trying to fix the connectivity issue, and then trying and seeing if it's a connectivity issue, that will resolve whether or not the screen needs to be replaced, and we can go from there. So let's get into this thing. You got to heat this up all the way around, get it nice and warm, and then I'm going to be using cards like this. This one's kind of beat up. Let me show you one that's in better shape. One of these to get into it, and you got to be really careful since this back is glass. You want to be really careful. You don't want to use metal if at all possible because it will scratch. This is glass with a coating on the back. I just like to warm up the whole phone first, get it all nice and toasty. Once it's hot to the touch, then I'm going to focus more on the top and make sure it continues to be hot to the touch before I continue moving on. The back glass covers for the S21 and up are a lot easier to get into than the older ones like the S20 and below. The glass is thicker and it's just in general a lot easier because of that to get in. The glue loosens up a little bit easier as well. I'm going to try first with a suction cup. Let's see if I can create a gap. It's not working. Now there is a little bit of this isn't the best way to show this because you guys won't have this. I prefer a razor blade, but in this occasion it's just not as good. It's already warm. Okay, I need to heat this back up, but I'm going to use this, get in there just to create a gap, and then get the plastic card in there. I usually use this, but I found this to be easier. It's just a really flexible piece of metal. Usually used for separating screens from the OLED panel when you've got cracked glass but not cracked screen. Okay, that's nice and hot. It's not working all that well. Here, it's gotten in general. I just want to put a little bit of alcohol in there. Then I should be able to slip the card in. I don't want to use this one, it's a bit too damaged. There we go. And you really want to take your time. If you go too quickly with these, you can shatter the back just from the pressure of the card itself. And if you feel a lot of resistance, go back on it and heat the back up again. Especially around those corners, you want to go slow. I'm just pressing very lightly right now and moving back and forth. It's gotten cold, more heat. There we go. I think this might actually be made of plastic. It doesn't feel like it's made of glass. It's too flexible. Depending on the plastic, though, it can still crack, so I would still be careful, and I would still not use metal. So that's completely disconnected. Now all we've got left is this, and I don't think this is made of plastic. This the lens cover is usually made out of metal, and can be really hard to deal with. The way that I found best to deal with this is just to dribble alcohol in around the edges, and then just keep wiggling it until it comes up. Being stubborn, got it lifted up with my nail. Got to clip my nails, they're getting a bit long. It's just residue that's remaining, holding it in place, I'm pretty sure. It's cutting around it with the card. Maybe there's some adhesive that's stuck right at the edge of the lens, right around here. If that's the case, I might just go in with the card and just poke along the edges there and see if that loosens it up. Yeah, there is something back there. Okay. There we go. We're in. Let's get those screws out. I believe these screws are all exactly the same size, so it shouldn't be a big deal. I see a couple of screws that are very different from the rest. Right here at the top, I don't know if it's holding anything in place, but they are actually Y-wing screws. Very big ones, but nevertheless Y-wing screws. That is odd. Gonna disconnect the battery immediately. And let's just take a look around. This right here is the screen. That's what connects the screen to the motherboard. It's this ribbon cable right here. Do you see that? It's disconnected. It's just straight up disconnected. So, Let's just push it back down. I hope that's all the issue is. It would have been dropped very hard for that to have been a thing. And let's just give it a test. Let's try turning it on. There we go. That was it. It was simply a loose connector. Look at that. Sometimes it's just the simple things. I'm so happy to see that was just a connector that was loose. So there is a picture of somebody on the screen there. I'm just going to hide it up for their privacy, but as you can clearly see, it is working. Now let's see whether or not the... Oh, it is. I'm going to hit emergency call and just type in some numbers. You can see quite clearly the screen is working. It is working. It is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I'm going to get this phone back together. I don't need to show you guys how to do that. But we're done. We are done. It is now fully working, fully functional. I'm so happy that it was such an easy fix. Oh, it's always nice when I don't need to deal with parts. Thank you guys all for watching. If you liked the video, please do leave a like. And if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. We'll see you guys all in another video. Bye.